see what y'all been saying online. Social media for the Pelicans got way better, huh? A lot of stuff behind the scenes. I got somebody important tied into all of that here. Y'all seen it before. Baby, what up?
You must know that first. Can't nothing and nobody fade what we trying to do and what we about to do. Second thing is, we got this game on our level. You understand what I'm saying?
Welcome to another episode of In Space. I'm your host, Chris Connor. Shout out to all the good people that support us here, DraftKings Sportsbook, Jägermeister, as well as Birdsall Lawfirm. I got a special guest here, man. I haven't had the chance to do an interview in a minute, just kind of tracking folks down. But now, I'm gonna kind of dip in the bag and talk to a few folks. Here is a brother I've been following for a little bit. I didn't talk to some people on the show here, but I don't think I talked to an Emmy winner. So without further introduction, we have Emmy winner along with Pelicans and Saints producer / editor Chrys Sims. What up, brother?
Man, appreciate that, brother. What's going on with
you? Not much, man. I really just wanted to, shine a light on more and more people from behind the scenes. I was able to talk with Shanika, who I know you work with, closely every day. In the off season when the CJ McCollum Jaleel White video had dropped, and that was cool. But as we was talking before we started recording, I didn't realize there was this many people that was all involved. I got a chance to see you pop up, realizing that you was following me, that I wasn't following you. Let's see what's good. And then and then more and more stuff, started to come up. But first off, man, for the people that don't know, an award in itself and the strides that the social media team, I think in total, from videos to just a bunch of different things that have been produced over the past, I say a couple years. Give a little bit of a background about, first of all, where you from, what I'm saying, specifically, and then tell the people exactly what you end up, what your role is, what you end up doing with the franchise, with the team, day to day.
Okay, cool. Yeah, man. So I'll just start with introduction. Chrys Sims from Lake Charles, Louisiana. I'm a military kid, so I moved around a lot, but that's home base for sure. Producer, editor for the Saints and Pelicans, as you mentioned. Really, man, my journey was a little, I'd say, untraditional or non-traditional, however you say that. I was a nurse in the military for 7 years. And, I went through basic training, went through my nursing school. That took a little bit, ended up back in Atlanta at 2014. 2014. And me and my homies, we would just keep up with elite level high school basketball at the time. So at the time, it was Jaylen Brown at Wheeler. So we just go to a couple of them games, see Coach Cal on the baseline. He hit a windmill, I think, that game. And then we realized that right after that, we go home and get on YouTube and look at the highlights. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, man, if I'm doing that, I could do that, So it was like a formal training. It wasn't going to school for it. It was just hopping on YouTube and figuring it out. Bought my first camera 2018 and just got to it, bro. Your tutorial at the tutorial, YouTube U, as they say, just grinding it out. Really just watching music video directions, how they do it. That's how I wanted to approach the mixtape scene, if you want to call it that.
Yeah.
Created my own platform on social media called Hoop Dealers with two of my brothers. And just went from there. Every event I get my hands on, I just went. EYBL every session. I think within a few months, I got decent pretty fast. So I started freelance with Bleacher Report, covering the EYBL, just a high school circuit. Ended up being the videographer for the Allen Iverson Classic in that same year. Just all the first year I started doing it. So I realized, okay, I might be cool at this. And then just kept grinding it out on the high school scene, working with players, because they kind of serve as your billboard, your marketing for you. If they like what you do, they're going to post to their social media. And these kids famous now. So that's going to blow you up quicker than you could on your own. So that's just kind of how I got my name out in that realm. Ended up working on a college event with my brother, Chris Williams, in the 7 group called Hoopsgiving. They have a high school portion of it and a college portion of it. So it was the first year, the college portion, where I ran essentially video for the whole event, for the whole company. And it just happened that Herb and Jose both played in that event. And the next year we were all with the Pelicans. So that was cool. But this, as concise as I could put it, it was a different kind of route for me. But it just goes to show that you can end up here any kind of way.
So you've been with the team now 3 years, 4 years?
It's my third season. Yeah.
Third season, okay.
Yeah.
So that's interesting because, man, like if I had to go back 3 years ago and talk about, like, I think the way that a lot of people that supported the team really, didn't have the most positive things to say about their online presence. I know I didn't. And specifically, I think there's been strides taken if you just focus simply on the Pelican sides of things. Just, even if you throw out, like, back and forth with Stephen A. Smith and everything like that, but it just feels like we've come a long way from the reaction to the city uniforms that came out. I want to say a couple years ago. I'm sure you're familiar with the video that they ended up dropping.
Yeah.
And people was not rocking with it. Now, back to back years, even going from like schedule release videos, like it's just a lot of stuff that's coming. This people are gravitating towards the different uniforms that have come out. Everybody loves to see this and for this particular year.
Right.
But we're not the city. I'm forgetting the actual name because I think the Crescent City uniforms are the city. But
no, that's a statement. So that's a statement jersey. The black one, I like the city dish. So you're right.
Yeah. So but even the video drops that came out with those, with all the different players, the Mardi Gras element of it, the voodoo sense, like people, there was nothing negative people could say. Even talking about how some of the court changes from when you started to where things are now. Have you noticed how the reception behind a lot of the things that you guys produce has changed and kind of shifted a little bit with the fans and the people that are watching every single thing Pelicans related?
Absolutely. I think that's multifaceted too. You got to attribute a lot of that to how the team is performing, as well as how we coming creatively. And that starts with Shanika. Shanika's just, I'm probably Shanika's biggest cheerleader, so don't get me talking about her for real. But yeah, just as they're performing, and like my first season here, they started 1-12, ended up in the playoffs. And we kind of just been, trending upward since then. So that makes it easier for the fans to receive what we doing when they playing well. Otherwise, like there's nothing we can do right when the team's not playing well. So just kudos to them for that. But it just definitely since I first got here, you've seen that just steady growth. And again, it's a collaborative effort, as you said. It's multiple departments coming together and brainstorming. And then ultimately, Shanika and our team sitting down and like, okay, how do we put this out for the world to digest in a way that's authentic to the city? And that's where I think we've grown the most. It's just making sure that we stay in tune with what New Orleans is about. And that's easier to do with Shanika being a native and me being from Louisiana. Just different people on our teams just being from here, actually knowing like what's outside, what outside looks like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, it just starts with that. And like, it's been a fun ride just to see what, like, okay, we can post something and not be scared of the backlash is going to come no matter how good it is or how it is. So it's cool to be able to create freely, knowing that, our fans rock with us. Now it's up to us to just give them something to cheer for. And I think we've been able to do that.
Yeah, because, I think the disconnect for the longest was that, just like, I think the people felt like things that were being released, whether it was video or whether it was social media presence, things that were being put out. I mean, across the board, certain things that were being marketed didn't fit the average person in New Orleans. You know what I mean? To be honest, that looked like you or me. And now it feels like that there is a shift. There's something really for everybody. And even if it still has areas that it can grow, specifically over the past few years, and maybe that does tie into the fact that the team has had some level of consistent success over the past 3 years, in comparison to before. Definitely, I mean, I'm sure it helps, but I would say, I mean, for sure, you're seeing people more and more feel like, all right, that feel like somebody that looked like me was involved. That feel like that's something that's New Orleans based. It's not really for it's not necessarily for anybody. Like I feel like I can protect that. And one of the things I do want you to do is give a shout out to all the people that work on it. Tell me how many people do you have on a regular working on these different things? Pretty much year round, specifically if you're dealing with both Saints and Pelicans.
I can speak just for video. I probably can't say how many because it's a lot of it's a few of stuff.
Yeah.
So I said, let's say Shanika. Everybody knows Shanika. She is who she is. So we got John Levangito, who's like our senior producer in the senior role. Myself, Jonathan Mahody. There's a lot of Johns, so it's a lot of Johns. John Mahody, John Seabag, Ryan Micklin, Brendan Lane. Then you got the in arena side with Bree Latino, James Crosby, Forrest Gaines. It's a lot of us that kind of come together and make this work because it is a lot. You have to balance two teams and the responsibilities that come with that. It's partnership obligations. It's not just the fun social media stuff everybody sees. There's a lot of stuff that people don't see. It's the pre and post game interviews. It's practice. At every single practice we there. At every single media available we there. Every shoot around we there. So it's a lot that goes into it that people don't see. And just hats off to our team for being able to balance those responsibilities.
What's an average day-to-day like for you?
Man, that could that's crazy because sports is so unpredictable. It can be, you can start off, like I said, Shanika gives us our schedule on the weekends for the week. It's a weekly schedule because it's so fast paced and everything's just moving. It could be, you're supposed to edit this today, and then something can happen in the news. And then like, hey, here, shift to this, go do that, or something. A player has some engagement that maybe they just decided to do, so we have to go cover that. It's unpredictable, but for the most part, it's pretty organized. You have an idea of what your week looks like, so you can kind of prepare for that. And it's just really communication. So it's kind of hard to say like a day in the life, so to speak, but. Yeah, it's just ever evolving, honestly.
So you gotta okay. So what would you say is the favorite part, like of what you do? Because you've had like, and you can all, I mean, really, in all honesty, like say like, what's your favorite video that you've been a part of? Because I know it's so many different elements of creating content of any kind, different nuances that the average person wouldn't really recognize, but different tweaks that when you're putting something together, you may be like, yo, that's dope as hell. And the average person when they're watching might just like, just kind of skim right past it and miss it. But for you in the moment, like, yo, that's fire. So, if you get into like some of your favorite parts of, of the job and just, some of the favorite videos that you've been a part of.
That's definitely evolved as well. I think when I first came in, I wanted to shoot everything. Like, cause coming from a freelance world where you're so used to being in control of everything, you want to be able to know that I shot it, I edited it, it's going to turn out exactly the way I like. But as you come into a team environment, you realize that everybody plays a part. Everybody's here for a reason. Everybody's talented. So then you're like, okay, I can shift from having to hold the camera all the time to controlling how it looks on the back end, which I've come to like probably more than shooting. And I say that to say like more long form projects like the squad. I've been part of the squad since season 1, episode 1. That was edited on my laptop in my little studio on Crondalet. So that's something I have an attachment to, just knowing that first, it was like one of the first big projects I got when I came with the team. And it was brand new. And again, team started 1-12, so you didn't know how it's going to be received. But then we were charged with the task of just providing context to maybe a little bit of context of how that season was going until it became successful, and just keeping the fans engaged while maybe we're not performing how they would like. So that's a project that I always kind of just champion. And I think recently some of the projects have been proud. I mean, we've been going crazy, to be honest. But
that's what I'm saying, though. Like that's what I'm saying. Like you gotta know, like I know, between your background in the military, and other work that you've been, that you've done over time, like, bro, like I don't think that there was ever really a time, like from my perspective, where I was like, yo, I mean, Pelicans got, they putting out some of the best content that a platform could really put out that's supporting the NBA team or whatever. NFL a little bit different, I think.
Right.
And even with some of the stuff that the Saints have put out over time, like it always be viewed differently. But I think like the way that the Pelicans, like everything that's being produced is getting better and better, and you can point back to time to a particular thing when a trajectory when things change. And I'm glad you mentioned the squad because that's a good one, right? Like people, it's something that maybe at the particular time when you was making it's like, all right, this might be something good for now. But now it's like a little like mini reality show for certain people. Like people are looking forward to like the next episode, whether the team, and it may be something, whether the team, let's say, team down the line loses, wins 15 games, people are not going to care because now they are attached to this kind of setup. You know what I'm saying? Like people look forward to it. And I don't know how many other franchises that I can think of on social media really have something like that people can go back and look at from years later, years down the line, just keeping up with things that they won't be able to get a chance to really see or notice inside the locker room.
Right. Yeah. Just going off of the previous, what we were just talking about. Yeah. Like the squad is something that I love to be a part of, but I think it's more recently, we were talking about jersey releases and the statement jersey, which is the Crescent City jersey. Shanika just gave me that project, like, go. And that was my first opportunity on this level to be able to just control something from start to finish. And whether or not the jersey was received, well, everybody
people like the video.
Exactly. So that was my goal. Like, okay, you feel how you feel about a jersey. I can't control that. I don't design it, but I wanted to just, again, going back to the authenticity part, I wanted to do something that when I look at New Orleans, this is how it looks to me. And I think the video might have been a minute long, but you have so much space to do that. But with the concept of the Crescent City and trying to emulate or just show what that is by definition, and then trying to attach that to the city meaning of it, that was what I felt like I had to take on. And I tried my best to do it. I think it went over well. Like you said, people responded to the video well. But that was a project that Shanika she gave me. I came up with a concept. I shot it myself, edited myself, and it went out. And I reached out to Currency, asked him to be part of it. He let us use the song, which was dope. Yeah, man, that was a dope experience. That kind of like it validates you being at this level because imposter syndrome can be real. That's something I think every creative battles, especially like coming from me. I don't have a formal background in it, so it's all kind of learning as I go. And it's when you achieve things at that level, it's like, okay, man, I got something going, and maybe this is what I'm supposed to be doing. I can build upon it. But different projects like that, we all kind of just take part in whether it's holding a camera and shooting or whether it's editing. We all come together for each of these big videos we put out, and it's always cool to see at the end of it, like, man, the fans really love it, and that's the rewarding part of it. But I'll have to say, probably statement jersey release is one of my standout moments for myself.
Yeah, bro. I mean, like I was checking out your portfolio the other day, and I'm looking at the stuff that you mentioned Currency already, but the stuff that you've done with Jet Life already, you know what I'm saying? Just stuff like that. And I'm glad you mentioned imposter syndrome. People that watch it, imposter syndrome is real. I don't care how successful you think somebody is. I promise you, about 80% of the people that like look in the mirror and see something different some days. You might be the most confident person motherfucker you could think of, but imposter syndrome is real. But your background as well speaks to that, bro. Like I think that's important as well, because I was gonna ask you. There's somebody watching this right now and they say, yo, I want to do what Chrys is doing. You know what I'm saying? Chrys Sims, or even me, Chris Connor. Like I want to do, what they're doing, but I don't think I'm good enough. Like they might look at the statement jersey video that you put together and say, oh, I can't do that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I got the idea for it, but I don't think I'm good enough. But I want to do it. What would your advice be to them who arrive from a non-traditional background, to say the least?
I would say that was me. That was me looking at, even though I feel like we're at a better point now, back when I was applying for these jobs, I was looking at team social media and be like, man, I might have gotten a response for an interview, but I can't do that. So I don't know. But that's healthy. That can be healthy if you treat it the right way. For me, I utilize that to say, hey, okay, I'm not there yet, but I can get there. So I was just when I was applying for, actually, I got the job with the Saints and Pelicans on my second time applying for it. So they passed me up one time, and I'm like, okay. I didn't say nah, it's never gonna happen. Forget them. I was like, all right, yeah, I got more work to do. So I say that to say that in pursuing these positions, they're highly competitive. Everybody likes to work in whatever they're passionate about, whether it's sports, the arts. Just focus on building your skill set, even like with hoop, like learn your fundamentals. You know, when I started learning video, it wasn't like, okay, I want to be a sport videographer. I learned the fundamentals of videography, period, as it applies to any setting. So once I did that, I felt that, okay, maybe I don't have NFL experience like that, but if you put me in the ring, I'm gonna figure it out. And like being confident in your work and your skill set will help you be confident in your ability to perform at any level. So that's kind of the advice I would have to offer. Just once you know you put in the work, and yeah, you can measure yourself up against somebody else, but that's not to knock yourself down. Just to say that, okay, that's somewhere I need to work to get to, and that's an aspiration for yourself. So yeah, it's imposter syndrome can be healthy if you treat it the right way, but just don't dwell in that. I can't get there. You know what I'm saying? It's just something.
So you say you got turned down, which is actually, you know, I mean, I think something else that is important in people like growing, you know, evolving. Like sometimes you need that rejection. You need to be told no. Did you get any feedback to why you were told no? How long did you wait before you reapplied again?
No, bro. At that time period, I think I applied. I have a list I show people all the time when we talk about this. I have a list of all the teams I applied for. It might be like 20, 30 teams. And
Damn.
NFL, NBA. And when they say no, it's just no. It's that regular stock email. We would have became, you know what I'm saying, somebody with more experience, whatever the case was. But I just got so used to it. It's like, okay, next time I see it, right back. And my portfolio is just gonna be that much better next time I apply for it. So yeah, I forgot what year it was, but it was the season before I came on. I applied, didn't hear back. We just got the regular rejection email, and then it popped up a year later. I think it was during COVID or coming back from COVID. And then Shanika reached out, went through the interview process. I was like, even through that, I'm like, man, they playing. Like, it took a long, because you don't really know what to expect when you're applying for these jobs. So it took a little longer than I guess I imagined. But my way. And at the same time, other teams started to hit me, but I'm like, you know what? That's a home team. I like what Shanika's doing. I like what she represents. She's somebody I can see myself just taking after and looking up to as a mentor. And that's the decision I made. But it's just, you have to grind it out and keep believing in your ability throughout the rejection, because it can get taxing. You can have your down moments and go through your periods of depression or whatever it is, however you respond to that kind of adversity. But you're able to conquer it if you grind it out.
Well, say, brother, I think you doing some jewels, in explaining your journey and your background. I think that was dope. I appreciate, one of the reasons that I wanted to have you on is that, like, I appreciate what you're doing. I appreciate that it's coming from a place where, a team that I've support of, that, but more importantly, a city that I support has something that is growing and really growing, like, behind the scenes. Like you may have, like, social media, the Pelican social media element, or the page in itself, got some love recently, because of some other things in regard to Stephen A. Smith. But I think people that's been following the team, they've been like we've all been noticing that things are a lot different than they were just from a couple 2 years ago. There's different faces, different people, and overall just different ideas and creative elements of things that are fun, that's going to reach wide audiences, but also keeping it New Orleans, keeping it organic, keeping it original. And I just want to give you flowers, bro, and say thank you for being a part of this. Thank you for being a part of these videos. And as we close out, is there anything, it could be Saints or Pelicans, that you have upcoming that you are excited about? You ain't got to give, whatever you can share detail wise, about what's next.
I think, well, first, appreciate it, brother, for having me on the platform. And I couldn't go through this interview without mentioning just our leadership is the reason why we're able to perform the way we do. Whether it's on the social side, you got Alex and Tatiana and Christian. They work really hard on that side to just put out great content for everybody that has been going crazy recently too. I will note that social is separate from video. So it's two different teams that work together very closely to provide the content that you all end up just taking in and loving. But yeah, on that side, they're doing a great job. Obviously, like I said earlier, I'm gonna say Shanika until forever. So she's just somebody that's just looked out for me personally and did a lot for my life and my career. So I couldn't appreciate her enough. But yeah, man, coming up, I think I don't think we could talk about some of the stuff that we're in the process of doing now, just brainstorming wise. But project I just got through with was the Be Mike Black History Month Eternal Seeds mural. I was part of that project on the video side from day one through every session, and saw how it grew from day one to the day it was mounted. So that's something that's a great cause. The murals being auctioned, the proceeds are going to Eternal Seeds and to Larry Nancy and CJ McCollum's initiatives. So that's something that I was proud to take part of, being from Louisiana, being a Black man in the space, and just being able to do something on that level for my culture. That was dope for me. Larry just announced the winner for his initiative yesterday, or it happened yesterday. I think they announced it today. So that's a video I'm working on as well, to just kind of put that together and demonstrate what that process was like. So I've come to take pride in those more meaningful projects. And we all love hype videos. We all love the highlights and getting people excited. But I think storytelling is something where I've grown in, and that's something I've taken a liking to, and something I want to build upon. So without saying too much, just you can look out for storytelling from me and us at a high level from this point moving forward.
Well, look, man, as I mentioned, I already had Shanika on here. I think next year I'm gonna try to get her back on again. But again, man, appreciate everything that y'all putting together on the video and editing side. I think that's it's flying a little bit under the radar, but I mean, when you win Emmys, you win awards. Obviously, somebody paying attention. You know what I'm saying? You should have had the Emmy right next to you, bro. No,
I'm not actually in the crib. No, I figured my baby and my 7-year-old were gonna be a little loud, so I went to another room where it's not. You know what I'm saying? But that's dope. We took home 3. Shanika got one for writing. John Levizito got one for an edit he did, and then we all won one for the squad. So that's just a testament to just the grind, and that's a testament to you all who champion what we do, and like y'all push us to keep wanting to be creative, and we want to do that because we love how y'all respond to it. We love putting the players in the best light, showing how great they are, but it's up to you all to make us successful. So that drives us to keep wanting to push the bar. So we appreciate that too.
Love, bro. Tell the people where they can follow you at.
Chrys Sims, Chrys. The Y always throws somebody off. So that just changes the whole spelling of the name somehow. So ChrysSims. I think it's Twitter and IG. Not really active, but I'll be there. I'll be lurking and I'll chime in here and there. But yeah, that's where anybody can reach me at.
Man, all right, man, for sure. Until next time, yo, I'm Chris. That's Chris. Holla at y'all. Now you're gonna get us up out of here.
In the building. I told you last time, get with us. Well, get out of here, man.